Hi, my name is Israel Solomon. I'm a visual artist located in Indianapolis, Indiana, and welcome to episode number 4 of Paint with Me. Today, I wanted to show you the completion of the painting that I had been working on a few of the previous episodes, what my thought process was while working on it, and what the outcome was. So, this is a completed product. The piece will be on display in the very near future. As I mentioned before, I have a solo show coming up titled Oasis in August of 2026. And with that show, I'm having a lot of pieces that are representative of imaginary still lifes and imaginary landscapes. Previously, my work has been heavily based in figurative art, representing the human figure, maybe representing things that I've been through, stories that I've been told, maybe things that I've read, experiences that I've had. With this body of work, I'm stepping away from that and I'm really going more into imagination than ever before and really painting for the sake of painting as opposed to trying to tell a direct human story, leaving areas up for interpretation, and really creating more abstract work um, than even ever before. When I'm looking at this piece, and as I was creating this particular piece, my thought process was I want this piece to be abstract. Although there's some representational imagery in the piece, bowls, vases, pictures, a table, a window, the sky, light, shadow. It's all very playful, and the rules of light and shadow have been bent in order to create rhythm and motion within the image. So, if you can look around the image, I think you'll see, as I'm explaining to you, what I mean by repetition and rhythm and things of that nature. So, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that the colors were balanced very well between cool and warm. So, you see a lot of warm colors in regards to what the bowls and the vases and the pitchers are sitting on, the table, or whatever surface that may be. Again, I'm trying to leave that open for interpretation. And then you see the coolness of the dark sky with some subtle light coming up here in the corner. Um, there's no sun, there's no moon, there's no light source depicted in the image, but I think that by leaving that out, it leaves the mind to wonder what the light source might be and where the light is coming from. The light is extremely dynamic in the image. And again, things are bent in order to create that dynamicism. Like, when you're looking at these shadows here, these are all shadows that are being cast off of the objects. In those shadows, there's a lot of play. There's brighter colors, there's darker colors, there's deeper blues, there's warm browns. And, that the reason I did that is because I wanted to open the composition up to be, again, more than just a representational image and to have some abstraction within the image and, allow for play when I'm creating the image. And I'm really excited about this piece. I enjoyed making it, and I've got a couple other ones that I'm going to be working on that are similar prior to this show completing. So I just sewed up another canvas, which is over there. I don't think you guys can see it, which is the same exact size as this one, which is 36 by 48. And I'm going to be doing basically the same exact thing. I'm going to be reversing the colors a little bit. So, in other words, where you see these oranges and greens back here on this wall, you're going to, excuse me, oranges and yellows and reds. You're going to be seeing greens and blues and yellows. And we're going to sort of reverse what we're seeing here in regards to the approach of base colors. The highlights and the shadows are still going to be there. The base colors are going to be sort of switched up. And as I continue to create these sculpturesque forms out of these bowls, these vases, and these pictures, I intend to also bring imagery into them that might be a little bit recognizable. In other words, the bowls and the objects might be shaped into a familiar object, maybe a horse, maybe a butterfly. We'll have to find out as I move along with this particular series. And, there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed while working on this particular piece um, that may not be noticeable. And I don't plan to tell people who are actually going to come in and see the show. I just want them to experience it and figure it out for themselves. So, when you're talking about abstraction, simplifying and breaking things down, I definitely played with that. So the surface that the images are sitting on is uneven purposefully. Um, that's a little secret that I'll just leave for this video. I'm not going to really tell anybody that. I'm going to let them experience it. But if you look at the top here where the sky meets the surface, it does not line up with this side. And that's intentional. And it doesn't slant, it's broken and it falls down. So I want people to ask themselves, like, what's the depth here? Why are the surfaces broken? How is this bowl larger than that bowl? Are they sitting on something on top of the surface? Those are all questions that I want people to ask. But I really wanted this to be a rhythmic painting, and you'll see, motifs repeating themselves and colors repeating themselves in different ways as you look at the image. And I'm really excited about it. My final step in completion is just adding a gloss of varnish to the piece. And what that's going to do is that's going to even make the colors deeper and richer. And framing the piece. This is one that I'm going to have framed. Um, I wish that I could frame every single piece of work for my show, but the funds won't allow me to do so. My vision would be to frame every single piece, but you have to work with what you got, and I'm not there to where I can do that yet. However, one day I hope that I can get there. So, I hope that you're getting things out of this piece. If you're in the Indianapolis area or surrounding areas, please come out and see my show. This is a timestamp, August 7th, 2026, at the Harrison Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Show opens up at 6, and the exhibition runs from August 7th until the end of August. So there'll be plenty of time for folks who are in the area to come in and see the work. All right. So now that I've explained that piece, I'm going to show you, excuse me, the next piece that I'm working on for the show. And what I'll say about my work process, I love talking about my work process for people who are interested, is, when I'm working, especially on a show, I like to work on several pieces at once. There's been times where I've had like 7 or 8 pieces that I'm working on all at one time, and I'm shifting through those pieces um, until completion. And it gives me a good rhythm. Painting in oils for me is a slow process. So if I'm able to work on multiple pieces at once, that kind of speeds things up, because I can say, okay, if I'm using this ultramarine blue on this piece, the other pieces that I need ultramarine blue to be on, I can work on those as well. So for instance, I did that with this particular piece. Then I have these little small pieces that I'm working on right there. And it allows me to bounce back and forth in between different pieces and build up in layers. And then before you know it, a week has passed and I've got a few pieces done. So that really helps me a lot in regards to workflow. Everybody's different in regards to workflow. Some of us, again, like to work on multiple things at once. Some of us like to be tedious. I'm not even going to say tedious. That's not the correct word. But some of us like to focus in on just one piece at a time. Some of us work in regard, in spite of how we feel. If we feel good, we're working. If we feel bad, we're working. I'm one of those individuals. Some of us are different in regards to our approach and have to feel inspired to do so. All of those approaches are okay. It really depends on you and what you want out of this thing. Again, art should be completed, in my opinion, based upon a love and a passion for it as opposed to anything else. And because I have a passion for this thing and a love for this thing, it allows me to work even when I'm not feeling like doing it. Because there's days where I don't feel like doing it, but I'm still doing it anyway because I know I have a goal for myself and a vision for myself. So that's the way I approach things. It's not the way that everyone does, and that's okay. But I will say, in regards to working through the good and the bad, through the thick and the thin, and in regardless of how you're feeling on a daily and consistent basis, I do say that it can help you improve immensely, especially if you're interested and you're also pulling in visual references from other places, from books, from other artwork that you see, from things that inspire you. So that's my approach, but it doesn't have to be your approach. Your approach has to be what's best for you and what fits you best. All right, so now I'm going to go into the other image and show you um, what I'm working on uh, coming up next. So stay tuned. Right, so welcome back. And now I've got this new piece in front of me, this imaginary landscape that I'm working on. And really, this piece was inspired by the trip that I had to a place called 100 Acres in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is behind the Museum of Art. And this is a place that I go from time to time just to sort of escape and get away. I live basically in the city, and hearing all the different noises and the cars going back and forth and the beats going loud and all of those different distractions, sometimes I just want to get away from all of that stuff. And that's one of my escapes that I go to. And I go by myself and I just walk around and experience nature. And I'm walking around 100 acres and I'm seeing trees, I'm seeing grass, I'm seeing water, and I'm just breathing it all in and escaping away. And this particular piece is inspired by one of those walks. It's not, directly drawn or created from those walks. I didn't take a sketch pad or take my iPad and sketch this out. I just used what was in my mind and I put it on the canvas. And I think this is a good place to show you sort of how my paintings start. So right now, basically all I'm doing is I'm just filling in all of the base tones of the image. And when I'm done filling in the base tones, I'm going to start adding highlights and shadows until satisfaction. And then boom, I'll be done. So I'll go ahead and get started on some of the areas. I like to fill in, specific areas with similar colors all at the same time and then bounce around until I have all the base layers completed. So as you can see, I've got this green over here, which is basically going to represent a grassy area. This is going to be a deeper green than this green. And then this area back here is going to be an even deeper green than this one. And then I've got these trees right up here. And the base tone for those trees and the leaves are going to be the same color as the grassy area down here. So it's real simple. Just kind of get paint all over the brush and start smushing and pushing it around. And the colors that I used to create this green were cadmium yellow medium, sky blue, and titanium white. and that gives me a really vibrant, light yellowish green that I can really put depth into as I move along further into the image. So sky blue, cadmium yellow medium, and a little bit of titanium white brought this green to life. Mixed with liquid, which helps with dry time and helps with glossiness if you're looking for a glossier image. Kind of just splotch it on there, push it around. It's a bit messy, no big deal, and it gets the job done. Fill it in, and boom, here we go, building it up. I tell you what, I always feel like I sound old when I say I tell you what. But anyway, this process, the painting process, the creating process, is so freeing and liberating for me. There's nothing like it. It really relieves a lot of stress for me. When I'm going through rough and tough times, I at least know that I got my family, and I know that I got this little art thing that I can fall onto and I can escape. I can get away by diving into my imagination and making it come to life. And that's a blessing because there's other ways that I could be escaping that are not as healthy. So this is really a blessing to be able to do this and to create something out of what I see inside of my head, that crazy head of mine with all those ideas in it. So I encourage you to do the same. All of you who are aspiring artists, um, aspiring writers, aspiring musicians, aspiring game developers, aspiring actors, all of you, dive into your craft, and I hope that you find that sense of peace from doing so, like I do when I'm doing this as well. So I've got those colors laid in for the most part. I'm going to add a little bit more into this brownish area, but I'm not going to fill in all of those browner areas because I'm going to keep that separation, because I'm going to make those areas a little bit darker as I move further into the image and developing it. So there we go. And we got it. That's what I needed. Now I'm going to go to my dry brush here, and I'm just going to smooth those colors out. Maybe hard for you to see the smoothing, but I'm smoothing out some of the rougher areas in that color, flattening it out. And it's just going to make it easier for me to layer as I move further into the piece, getting it done. There we go. Perfect. Now the next step is to go into this further back area and to put a darker green back here. And then we're going to go darker, and boom. Now I'm not going to take you through all of those steps with me, but I am going to explain to you how I'm going to mix a darker green from the green that I already have, being frugal with the paint. So I've got a little bit of the this green left over from mixing colors. And what I'm going to do to it is I'm going to add a splotch of ultramarine blue, which is a deeper, darker blue. And I'm going to mix that in with the green. And if it's too blue, I'm going to add some cadmium yellow medium to it to make it more green and less blue. And I'll show you what the color looks like after I mix it. Right now I'm mixing the color. I wish you could see me doing it. It's a deeper green. I'm satisfied with the green for the most part, but I'm still going to add a little bit of cadmium yellow medium to it. And a little bit of white. So I added ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow medium, and just a little bit of white to get the green that I want to work with. And I'll show you what it looks like. See, it's a little bit darker than what we've got here, but not too dark. Now I'm going to take my liquid medium and I'm going to add it into the green that I just mixed up. Just a little bit, just enough to loosen it up. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to mix that in. Now I'm pretty satisfied. I'm going to go into these areas and I'm going to start to splotch it in and then smooth it out. There we go. I can go into that tree a little bit because it's no big deal if there's a little bit of edging that comes over into the tree. When I paint it, all that's going to be taken care of. There we go. Smoosh it around. Like so. And again, these are just flat base colors. There's going to be a lot of gradient and there's going to be light and shadow added into these colors. These are just the base colors that I'm going to work with. That's all. Just the base tones. Just laying down the base tones. Good. Same thing here. This is what happens when you watch Bob Ross when you're a kid. You end up trying to be like him. Sitting here painting and talking. And here we go again. Take your time. Be confident while you're putting the paint down. Don't worry about making mistakes. You can always correct errors, just like with anything else. As I'm doing this, I'll tell you like a little bit of a story as to how I sort of like got over some of the fears of creating. When I was younger, my older brother, he used to draw from time to time. He was really good. I bet he still is if he wanted to practice and try. Does he still draw? I don't know. I don't think he does. But I wouldn't be surprised if every once in a while he picked up a pen and he started drawing. But one thing that I noticed when I was observing my older brother was that he would do these really cool pen drawings, ink pen, and he wouldn't erase. And I was like, how can he do that and create something that looks so cool without erasing it? And I started doing it, and it taught me not to be afraid by drawing in pen of making a mistake. And if you do make a mistake, figuring out ways to sort of fix it to where maybe it doesn't look like a mistake. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Sometimes I make them intentionally and leave them there too. Smoothing out that color. And now I pretty much have that next layer completed. Just like that. Easy peasy. The next thing I'm going to do in this painting is I'm going to go into this area and I'm going to paint more green. I'm going to darken it up using ultramarine blue and just continue filling out the base tones of this painting. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed watching this, and for everybody who is watching this, I really appreciate you. I know I have a small audience, but hey, I'm glad this just to have an audience and to have people interested in what I'm doing. After all these years of creating and making things, over 5 years of doing this as a profession, I just appreciate everybody who still is interested in me, in my work. It's not easy to have people who are interested in what it is that you do, especially in a creative field. So if I have somebody out there watching me and really enjoying it and appreciating what I do and learning something from it, I thank you because I can't really do this as a profession without people who support me, back me, and are for me and in my corner. So thank you very much. I'll be back soon with episode number 5, and I can't wait to share with you the next thing. Peace.